Boom, 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 boom. Bum ba ba da, bum ba da dun da da dun da da. Still 2 minutes left, everyone. 2 minutes, that's the fun. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, everyone. And then we'll start with the lunatic fun. A little bit of crazy to start the day. A bit of a mere insanity. Everything playing back alright. How's the music? How's the sound? How is life? Somebody respond to me. I understand it could take time. Time for stream to start. It is true. It is very true. TikTok entry. Okay. I have yet to see anyone say that things are going well, but I guess it requires Steam delay to be functional. Kinda good. Life's good. Okay, highlight. Okay, great. We need to face one of each ship against. No, Jonathan, we do not need to. I'm sorry. Don't ask me why I've now taken on a Russian accent. I like it. Great stream quality, 10 out of 10. Everything's good. For the after party, the menu music is white noise at this point. Is it just what do you mean? What do you mean it's white noise? Oh, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. That took far too long for me to register. Great out of 10. Well, 8 out of 10 is 10 out of 10 in my book. You just need the +2. Okay, 1 minute. Who are we waiting for? Spam everybody. Look, just spam everybody right now. It's the only way we're going to get people to realize that the thing is live, alright? Go, spam them, immediately. Secret a Russian spy. Yes, I am. You'll see. I invaded South Africa as a, I'm just going to stop before it goes too crazy. Hello, Tangas. Hello, Duxlayer. Hello, Saiter. Hello, Nile. Pan Starling. Hello, Drops Gaming. Hello, everybody. Hello, okay, who else is here? Nobody? Okay, fine. 11 out of 10. It is great. Anyway, we're going to just spam everything. It is live. Okay, let me just write a little thing. It is live. And then spacing. Copy paste. I'm very lazy, but I'm going to just copy paste this across the universe. Give me about a second. It is live. Please somebody provide streaming link. Okay. Great. Alright. I assume everybody is ready. Or at least... just, tell me when the music's alright, because I... Could you aggressively hum any Undertale? No, I can't aggressively hum Undertale. It doesn't work. I don't know Undertale. I don't know any of the songs. Or at least, not well enough. Okay. Alright. About as ready as you could be? Well, that's good enough. I'm just going to wait for... My chat going full screen. Okay, I just wanted to check one last thing. One last thing. One last thing. One last thing. Okay, Sublecrum here. What about Mons? Is Mons here? Is Mons aware of existence? Is everybody ready of existence? I mean... Are people ready, is what I'm saying. Talk with the labs folk tank. Yeah, sure. Pa-pa-pa-da. Pa-pa-pa-da. It's live. It's live. It's live. Is everybody aware? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Xenos. Thank you, Xenos. Thank you, Xenos. I see you posting that. Thank you, Subulcrum, because I saw you post that, and then you ninjaed me. Thank you, everybody. All right, great. We should be fully optimized. Going full screen. There we go. Okay, goodbye, chat. I'll see you in a different life. Monsters offline now. No. 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 He helped me set up the chat that you see. Ah, jeez. Da 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 da. Wah 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 wah. I said I'd give about 10 to 15 minutes as a buffer time, so I'm gonna give 6 more minutes, and then we're just gonna do this. All right? We're just going to Armageddon, and it should be fun. If it's not, then I guess you have to blame me. But regardless of such, countdown 5 seconds, double elimination, rounds 3, time 2 minutes 30 seconds, resources off, on, off, on, off, on, off, asteroid filled to 75% of 0, arena size 30,000 Buribona on. Great. Okay. Okay. 6 minutes. 6 minutes, Gobu. 6 minutes. I said I'd give a 10-minute buffer time, so I'm going to do it. I will stick by my word. Buffer! Buffer! Everybody, please spam buffer. Just spam buffer. Spam buffer. Do it. I request it. Purely out of amusementology. Good. Thank you, Saita. Buffer size infinite. 5 minutes. 5 minutes of buffer. 5 minutes of buffer remaining. Okay. Buffer! Thank you. Oh, thank you. It's like butter, but it's better, you know? It's better than butter. It's buffer. Buffer is unilaterally better than butter. Okay. I'm going to turn off music, because then you can play your own music in the background, and that's kind of just nice, you know? Physics update is 90 per second. True full screen. No rate limiter. Everything's good. Buffer is greater than buffer. My buffer is greater than your buffer. Think that. Okay, well, fair enough. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Buffer is greater than Yes, Nail. Yes, I'm not going to argue with that one. I can't. Now, as has been requested by a few people, I'm of course going to read through each of the ban butter. I agree. See, I agree. So as has been requested, I will of course pause the stream every now and then just to look at each individual ship and talk about it in a structural sense, and then basically just annihilate the universe. It should be good. Okay, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Then Armageddon, or at least as close as we can get. RC Hitler, you know, I'd like to, but then I'd have to go fish around and find it, and I just don't want to break anything. I'd have to, yeah, minimize and go hunting around. Either way. Yes, so C. Hitler wrote quite a few people, C. Hitler included, wrote a lot of very interesting lore, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the lore. I always like it when people add a bit of lore to their stuff. It's the PM I sent you, but if you don't, okay. I'll read it to the end, C. Hitler. I'll read it in the after party, because I don't think this should take all too long. Where did Zita, where did the fish come into this? Could notice. Fish is greater than buffer, which is greater than beaver, which is greater than butter. Butter fever. Oh, why? Frostflight. Yes, so we have. I'm just going to read them all out to you. So, all right. Okay, a few seconds. Exiting full screen. Finding. Don't worry, lightning. I already have. Okay. Everyone ready? Is everyone ready? Butter is greater than buffer, which is greater than beaver, which is greater than fever, which is greater than liver, which is greater than lover, which is greater than lower, which is greater than glove, which is greater than dove, which is greater. You say dove twice, which is greater than literally anything rhyming with that. Yes, see, yes, I think I'm forced to agree with you. All right. Okay, I think we'll begin. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to December 27th Hulless Tournament. No one's ready. Thank you, chat. You're a great boon to this scenario. Today we have 23 contestants facing it off in an epic battle, a battle of the ages, a war of the last of December 2017, the last Reassembly Tournament of 2017. This shall go down as a random Hulless tournament that went really quickly and had a lot of stupid aliens building Hulless ships because some random guy making a tournament demanded it. So, we're going to begin right now, after chat has calmed down. Everything's ready except for laps. I don't know if that's true. Anyway... The moment we're ready is the moment I get interruptions. Anyway, regardless of such, let us begin by first of all reading everything. So we have the Beamer Factory by Duke Slayer. He's bringing her Electron Lattice Conduit B72, basically a crystalline. We have Wrecking Balls by Icemorn, which is Terran. We have Naked Dalek by Kamikaze Dalek, which is once again Terran. Wait, was this? It was Terran. It is Terran. Of course it's Terran. We have a Sickness Comes by Mons Spoopus, which is Terran. We have C. Hitler with the last Arachnoid Fractal Armada, which I quite like the name of. We have Sunburst by Skipper LB, which is effective. We have Chiclets. We have Chiclets from Hell by Sumplecrum. We have the Mighty Ragars, the Typhoon Peacock Dream Imperium. Terran, of course, we are Sentinel Terran. We have Wraith with his Molecules fleet, which is Terran. We have Exterp 7 classified Hulless with 7 ships. Why did they say 7 ships? With Terran ships. We have Xeno 66 with a red fleet, because red. Oh, it's Arachneons here. Arachneon. Yes, I get it. We have Klim Hazard with his Laser Defense Grid 2. We have Sorry, I Saw It Happen by Husk. If I don't say the faction, just assume it's Terran. With the second Hulless Tournament by IGOG. He has brought in a farmer fleet, so this should be very interesting. Then we have Snowflake 1 by Starfix, which is crystalline. Then we have Lionel, who has come with a terrifyingly vicious B fleet. Well, we have Lionel by Lion, who's come with a B fleet. We have Thruster plus Condenser equals Armor by Debris. We have Oddie Cook Me with Galcon Architects. Galcon, by the way, is a reference to a series of basically role-playing games that I make for the guys. And basically, we have a role-playing afternoon. We all just, and I make them a game, and they play through it. If you've ever heard of Stars Without Number or stuff like that. And so this is a reference to a ship I gave Oddie, which is the Galcon, and so Galcon Architects. Anyway, then we have Concow Duck with the Beaked Bovines. Basically, an attractive yet deadly Hulless fleet, which is quite amusing. We have Drills with the Abstract Glittery Coconut. We have Neo-Bavarian with the Space Pistols. We have Neo-Bavarian Space Pistols by Splinter. And we have Isblag, I'm Sorry But Lasers Are Good by Frostflight. Yeah, we have two sorries. Sorry I Saw It Happening, and I'm Sorry But Lasers Are Good. Yes, no Splinter. It's quite sad. It's quite sad. If everyone could just spam Splinter and Mons, even though they're offline, just so they can be aware that it happened, that could be useful. Alright, good. Let's verify all the settings one last time. So time limit 230, rounds 3, double elimination, countdown of 5 seconds. Resources, plants, asteroids off, arena size of 30,000, and arena border on. Great. Alright, let us begin. Okay, first of all we have Wraith and Molecules versus Husk. Okay, so, now, Wraith has basically come with a thrustable fleet. This bunch is incredibly maneuverable, and armed to the teeth with burst lasers and missiles. Ooh, sheesh. Oh, very difficult to see what's going on in some of these ships, but he has a few proton swords, or protein swords, as Mons, I believe, coined. We have a few missiles and beamers. They're relatively light designs, heavy on shields, obviously, as you should in a Hulless Tournament, but very maneuverable. Then on the other hand, we have Husk, who's basically sporting a thruster square. Sorry. Then we have Husk, who's basically sporting thruster squares with Sorry I Saw It Happen. I'm not entirely sure what he means by I saw it happen. I'm gonna guess that he means he saw missiles and lasers and uber fast thrustables with him, because as we see he has a lot of burst lasers. Now this is actually quite a tough design with his force shields, and he has a bit of flak here as well, and also some mortars which make him rather deadly in close quarters. So right, let's let this play. Okay. Immediately the forces have been split. Husk annihilating the bottom row and Molecules, well, Wraith taking the top row, but as we see, Husk's missilic bombardment is vastly superior, unfortunately. Although Wraith did invest heavily in some beams, Husk invested in more beams. Oh! But you can see that Wraith sporting those few mortar, those what I call thumpers, those few mortars, really does help him. It just nuke Husk, but he really needs to get in there. Fortunately, Husk is just a bit too tanky. So Wraith had maneuverability on his side, but Husk seemed to have weapons. Okay, now we have Floof with the Electron Lattice Conduit B72, which is an amusing name. I find it quite interesting. Now Floof has gone for a very tanky crystalline. I'm just going to call it crystalline because I like crystalline, but I guess I could just say crystalline. Annoy everyone. We'll go with crystalline. Sorry. Okay. So interestingly, with Floof, she's decided to put her generators kind of in the front of her ships, which make them nukeable, at least with her capital ships. Her secondary, I suppose, destroyers, her little cruisers or little corvette things, they actually have generators kind of off to the side, so they don't get immediately destroyed. But also she's using a lot of, big heavy plasmas as her armor, good amount of thrusters at the front. And that makes her, quite a tough target. Also, she is sporting missiles for good old long range, as the Crystalline should always have. Right, then we have a Sickness Comes by Monsweepers, which I love, because it's really actually quite hilarious. The names of his ships are also just funny. I love it. So Mons has come with a thruster Armageddon Ball fleet, and by Armageddon Ball I mean the number of missiles on this thing is actually ridiculous. He has super stacked missiles. Just look at them. Just look at the missilic beauty. I mean, I'm making hand gestures right now, but I can't. Just look at it. Look at it. He has missiles on missiles on missiles on missiles. Now, this is an incredibly PD light fleet. He hasn't invested much in beams. He has two little thruster pods. So, 1, 2. They have a few beams on them, which I believe are set to point defense, but they also have some missiles. But beyond that, he doesn't actually have much else in the way of point defense, at least to the same scale as, say, the other Terran competitors. But the amount of missiles he has makes him very terrifying, and the maneuverability of these ships makes them quite survivable. The only issue is they do like to try and get in close sometimes. But this is a situation where they are hanging back nicely, and you can see how they tear in. Floof, of course, unfortunately, just getting torn out by those missiles. Crystalline not necessarily having the best point defense in the universe, and by best point defense I mean practically no point defense. But regardless of such, so sadly Floof gets wrecked in this scenario. I've actually run this tournament a few times, so I know that Floof is actually very effective, but I mean she's going to get knocked out here and move to the double elimination. But you can see the missiles just chow in, and the armor of these ships make them survive a decent while, but they can't survive this sustained bombardment, and Floof really doesn't have anything that can catch up. Not that the Crystalline, well, here have come a few missiles, but yeah, the bare minimum PD that Mons is holding, aka plasmas, is actually quite effective at taking down some Crystalline missiles. But I'm saying Crystalline and then Crystalline, I love it. But yeah, sadly, sorry Floof, but Mons takes this purely because of Missilic madness. So okay, now we get to the double elimination portion of this, where Molecules and Floof get to verse it out. Now, sadly, Molecules has a habit of flying right into the line of fire, which is going to mean that happens. Floof, of course, being a tanky brawler fleet, or Floof's Electron Lattice Conduit, B-72, being a close-range brawler fleet, does unfortunately mean that when Wraith's Molecules get close enough, they get annihilated, and I mean obliterated. It's actually quite beautiful, but yeah, Floof does have some good spread fire on these ships. Yeah, that one got taken out, but okay, well, one of her big dreadnoughts is still alive, so her two dreadnoughts are alive, and they're doing the bulk of the heavy lifting, but they can those thrusters are at least absorbing a good amount of chunky damage. The only issue is Wraith is leading on points, and there goes Floof's other ship. Oh, Floof. Oh, Floof. I really want this Crystalline fleet to get through, because it's actually rather effective against the other ones, but yeah. Sadly, this roll of the dice did not have Floof placed in a very opportune position. Molecules is, of course, just outmaneuvering, and just the missiles. The missiles are the key threat. I think Floof sadly lacks any, what are they, plasma diffractors? Yes, the plasma diffractor, their point defense, the Crystalline point defense. Okay, one more try. Then we'll just... Okay, so I mean, really the only way that Floof can win this is if Wraith gets in too close. If Wraith does the whole disrespect behavior and goes right into those dreadnoughts, go past the other ships, gets torn to shreds. I don't actually think that Molecules. I don't think they're actually. I don't think they're actually high enough P to have any disrespect behavior, which is interesting. But you can see the plasma mortar bombardment is terrifying, and it really does. Oh, but Floof gets a good few nice shots off. The capital ships are down, and Once those capital ships are down, there's very little else the fleet will be able to do. Unless this little... Now, this is a fast little ship. It's one of the smaller variants, but it's fast and it can still pack a decent punch. But the issue is it's getting ganged on. Ah, floof. Ah, floof. Rip. Ripperoni, floof. Ripperoni. Okay. Now we have Oddie with the Galcon Architects versus the second... Okay, so Oddie with his Galcon Architects, Oddie has a sort of torpedo bombardment fleet here. His shield severity makes it very difficult to see inside. In fact, I should have actually enabled reassembly, extra stars reassembly, because that makes the shields far more opaque. Well, transparent, I should say. You know, lessens the opacity, but you get the idea. But Oddie has basically a missile bombardment fleet, sporting... Oh, that's so painful. Sporting some burst lasers, some generators, missiles, and some proton swords, as well as 2 heavy plasmas at the front, which basically act as armor. As far as I know, it's all the same ship. I mean, I've looked at all these ships before, but I just can't remember. And then, of course, we have the second Hulless Tournament by IGOG, and sadly, this is a farmer fleet. It is shield intensive. You can see the pure shieldic madness on this thing. Yeah, tank. Rip farmers. Now, IGOG has come with some very tanky ships, but the issue is he has generator packs up to the top and up to the bottom, which are quite dangerous. As in, when they get hit, everything goes nuclear, but I suppose that's beyond the point. He has some big heavy-hitting cannons, and basically he just has four of the same ship, but I think we can all see where this is going to go. Now, if Oddie's ships get caught in the crossfire, they get wrecked, but otherwise, IGOG just gets incinerated, and it's primarily due to this generator setup. You know, it's bad. And when I say it's bad, I mean the moment the side goes down, pop, pop, pop. It's quite sad. But I mean, look, I mean, it's not a bad design at all. It's actually quite solid put against other farmer fleets. But that's the issue. It's a farmer fleet, sadly. So Oddie's Armageddon bombardment forces, win that, unfortunately. Okay, great. Now we have Concow Duck with the beak bovines. Now, Concow Duck has come with a very aesthetically pleasing fleet. You can see that his generator placement is a little bit dangerous, but I guess he doesn't all too much care for that. Concow Duck has ships with little tails on them. It's a very cutesy, aesthetically pleasing ship. He's made it very nice. I don't know why he's put all these generators at the front, though. He could have put them at the back. It doesn't matter. It's for aesthetic. I mean, I understand. But he also has some very heavy-hitting fleets. He has a lot of range. Also, the amount of plasma mortars on the front of that thing is dangerous. His sort of capital ship, some supports, but he has his little cow forces. Yes, also blast pulses. He also has a lot of blast pulses. Those aren't cargo containers. Those are blast pulses. Yeah, and that's actually quite effective. But unfortunately, on the other hand, we have thrusters plus condenser equals armor by debris. And debris has used cleverness to basically turn his thrusters into his armor, or basically make thrusters his armor, in effect. And he's come with these heavy hitters with a lot of missiles. Interesting generator placement in terms. He has some redundancy everywhere. Oh, the issue with Floof also is that Floof didn't have any redundant generators at the back. But, yeah. So as you can see, debris is packing a lot of missiles, some good damage, but also somehow a lot of movement. Anyway, let's see how this goes. He has 4 capital dreadnoughts, and they're all the exact same. But, Concow Duck ships can still pack a hell of a punch, and they're also incredibly maneuverable. Maneuverable? I'm going to take maneuverable and maneuverable. I'll say whatever works. But Concow Duck's his main dreadnought gets torn asunder. It's quite sad. But his ships are maneuverable enough that if they go up against other thrustable fleets, like Mons Pubis, debris wins it simply because debris is a very fast crystalline force, crystalline fleet. But yeah, it's very sad. Oh, puppies. Okay, anyway. Sorry, dogs. Um, oh, Concar Duck. You see, he has the maneuver. He has the maneuverability to get away, and also he has these missiles as some good backup. But those missiles. Though his PD is quite supreme. The issue is purely damage at this point. I mean, debris has done more than enough damage to give him a severe point lead that I don't think he can really recover from easily, sadly. But and as you can see, debris has some very maneuverable crystalline. It's too maneuverable. It's scary, actually. It's very scary. Now you see, if Concar Duck had more of this ship, he'd do better against debris. But his other ships do actually really quite well against some of the other capital craft. The other nice thing about Concar Duck is that he had mine layers on his ships. He had mine layers, so that when the enemy fly towards them, they get smacked in the face, which is quite cute. But oh well. Yeah. So okay. So now we have once again the second Hulless Tournament by Igog versus the Beaked Bovines by Concar Duck. Now I think we can guess who's going to win this. And I'm sorry, Igog, but it's oh, oh. Yeah. The issue is that Beaked Bovines are far too maneuverable, and the amount of weapon systems they have is daunting. I mean, you can see the power of those plasma mortars. The range, the splash, and the damage just incinerates them. I mean, they pop like a balloon. But so does the Beaked Bovine because of their generator placement. I mean, the Beaked Bovine was not optimized, I guess. But you know, obviously more for looks, which I like, I appreciate. If we were doing the Sweet Generous, which Deluxe does, Beaked Bovine, get my Sweet Generous. Not enough missiles, says Supplecrum. Yes. Right. Now we have the Chicklets from Hell. Speaking of Supplecrum, here's Supplecrum. Now, Supplecrum has come with a Sentinel fleet that actually has Gorse beamers. I call this a Gorse Bolter fleet. And by bolter, I also mean bolter in terms of speed. This is another thruster square fleet, which is dauntingly effective. Versus, you know, with the eternal sunshine of Hulless kind. Oh, sweet Xenos. Oh, sweet Xenos. This fleet is very nice. I like it. I really do love it because look, it's got some nice design. It's got circular generator patterns in here. It's very nice. He even has medical applicators. You know, the nano reassemblers on his ship, which mean that his ships can actually, they're surprisingly. Everyone's saying rip Xenos, and you're not wrong, but these healing beams actually make these raid ships really effective. And I'm not saying really effective against any other type of ship, but I'm talking about other kind of other, how should I say, less optimized raid fleets, because they can heal themselves. They're kind of chained together, and enough of them. If one of their ships is tanking and all the others are healing that craft, they can actually be quite effective. But in general, no, they're it's a little more for effect than it is for efficiency, sadly. But yeah, and then of course, like I already mentioned, Supplecrum has beamers. Now I haven't seen anyone sporting Gorse beams in a long time, and well, they're painfully effective. Painfully. Yeah, pop. Those bolters are also dauntingly effective as well, just because of the damage they do. Oh, see knows. Oh, that's not fun. Oh, you see, it's just one little pop of that laser and... Bah. Yeah, Tempers do have a decent amount of health, but the issue is that those Gorse beams slice right through everything. They just go right through everything. Especially when you have them in critical mass like Sumble. I mean, he has like 6 of them. And 6 of them in a battery do terrifying effects. Yeah, so the Chicklets from Hell win, sadly. Okay, now here's something I'm excited for. Here we have the bees, not the bees, but yes, the bees, and we have Beamer Factory by Duke Slayer, literally his factory ships and here's something that I haven't seen ever. He has spammed anchors. He has spammed anchor drones, as well as some normal drones, but it's actually very effective under the right circumstance. But of a galaxy for a reason. You're right, Cherry. You're right. Reds were never meant to verse Sentinel, but still. Oh well, I mean, it's sad. Anyway, but still. So Duke's has come with this very interesting anchor fleet, and he just has 7 of the same ship. But they're actually surprisingly effective because in one way they're really good at countering missile spam because of the shields on the drones and the rapid replication of them. But also the lasers, well, I'll just let you see, but you know, it slows them down, attack them. Then on the other hand, we have Wrecking Balls by Iceborne, and these things are thruster ball to the maximum. Lots of shields. There's only 5 of, oh my gosh. You know, there's 5 of these sort of normal variants, and then there's his Uber Mega Dreadnought class. So he has 4 of these heavy hitters, and then he has his Mega Hitter, which all sport a lot of plasmas, some torpedoes on every angle, a decent amount of, you know, he has a few missiles and a few drones. Interesting choice to have drones. I mean, usually you need them in some sort of mass to make them effective, but regardless of such. And then he has this little missile stack inside. A lot of pulse beams in the center of these craft. And when I say a lot, I mean in total. Individually, it's not really that much, but still, you know, effective PD. But thruster balls. And now look at this anchor spam. That's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. And the thing is, they really do soak up point defense. But unfortunately, in this sort of case, if they all lock onto one of Duke's ships, he usually does quite well. Usually. But unfortunately, Duke doesn't really have... He has the maneuverability to get away from these things, but at the same time, his ships only have backwards thrust. And that means that they can kind of get cornered like that and get annihilated. It's really sad. Now, Duke does better against some of the other competitors, but you know, against Iceborne has too much maneuverability to be stopped by the anchor drones. The anchor drones do a good job in general, but they need to really be in critical mass. And the thing is, Duke's ships don't always run. They don't always run. Sometimes they lag behind. They're like, I'll fight you. Get me closer so I can use my sword, you know? It's a Warhammer 40k there, but yeah, unfortunately, Iceborne is just too quick. So he overwhelms the anchor drones, which doesn't give, because Duke does have a few normal drone launchers which do the bulk of his damage and they can be very effective against other things. But yeah, this is one of the situations where Duke absolutely loses because the enemy just have too much maneuverability, and because some of Duke's fleet spazzed out. If that entire fleet was still alive and they were, you know, because Duke's fleet does this whole, you know, chase around the corner routine. Which makes them very effective because then all the drones are in a critical mass in one position and they do a good job in slowing down things. Anyone who went Terran this tourney lost my respect. Yeah. Yeah, Sumblecrum says Iceborne has too many PD lasers. I don't know about that one, but fair enough. He doesn't have as many PD lasers as some of the other people, and amusingly, the more PD lasers people have, it seems to be the more they win. Which is, you know, a rough guesstimation. It's not really all too accurate, but still. Okay, yeah, so once again, we just have more of the same. Unfortunately, this is going to be another situation where Duke can't get away fast enough, I don't believe. Unless he does. Actually, yes, this is perfect, because then, yes, okay, so this is one of the good situations where Iceborne's fleet has gotten bottled to one side and Duke's is on the other, which means this critical mass of drones can get built up. The only issue is that sometimes the drones, of course, get stuck behind the ships, but in this case, thankfully, the game's auto hitbox system is kind of just, well, I suppose not auto hitbox, but the pop hitbox system is making Duke's drones go around him. Oh, don't turn, Duke, don't. Oh. Beam a factory down. Beam a factory down. Black Hawk down. That's actually orange. Orange B down. Orange B down. But yeah. Everyone's laughing. They're losing this stuff. I'll actually need to lose over the course of the stream. I'm gonna lose my mind. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. What are you all laughing about? I've obviously lost the plot. But yeah, Iceborne's kind of getting... Why would you turn your butt to them? Why would you do that? Duke, you should have invested a few engines in other turning, because look what your ship's doing. He's like, I've only got my left turnings. Just gone. Beam it down. Beam factory down. Plot is for people with time. You know, I agree, Sample. I agree. uh, yeah, so basically, you know, Duke has his orbital fabrication fleet here. Just drone spam. Okay, you know, butt to the wall. No, he lost the plot. Say hello to my poking stick. Woohoo! Oh, it gets annihilated. For some reason, Duke's ships seem to think they can spar with the back ends of their ships. I don't know what's going on. Oh, you need to lose the game over the course of the stream. You know what? Anyway. Okay, now this is a situation where sadly Duke wins tragically. But but here's an example where you can see the effect of the healer beams. They're not as effective as, you know, weaponomic assault, but they can hold things together. But look at this drone spam. Now one issue with Xenos is Eternal Sunshine of a Hulless kind, which I love the name of. Duke, how did you lose a ship? You know, I'm just going to put that up to gross incompetence and leave it at that. But you know, the one sad thing about this fleet is that they don't have enough point defense. I mean, you could have easily sacrificed, you know, 1 or 2 Tempests and had a massive supply of point defense. The little like 6 or 5p lasers, which would have torn in these anchor drones to sunders. But sadly, yeah. So yeah, Duke is actually going to win this. Look at the drone spam! Look at the drone spam! Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I just want to run my hand through that like sand, you know. It's just gorgeous. But yeah, unfortunately, Xenos loses this. Oh, Xenos. Oh, Xenos. Oh, Xenos. I want to see Xenos do well, but unfortunately, he's going up against Terran, you know, Tinkerell, not Tinkerell, Terran, Sentinel, and Crystalline, and then, you know, these rare Dukes, you know. I mean, yeah, there's very little chance of him winning. Really, his primary issue is the point defense, because most things around here. Sorry, I'm reading chat, but most of the things around here have missiles, or drones, or just a lot of long-range stuff. And so sadly, that just means that they get absolutely annihilated. But yeah, so that was the Beamer Factory by Dukeslayer. He wins finally, but you can see an example where Dukeslayer would win. He wins against the more tanky variants of Hulless things. So stuff like Kamikaze, Dalek, we'll see soon. One that wins. Now here is Sunburst by Skipper LB. Skipper has come with a very laser-intensive fleet. He has a lot of flak, a lot of burst lasers, and a lot of, well, not a lot, but you know, a few missiles, just enough missiles to pepper things. And then on the other hand, we have Isplug. I'm sorry, but lasers are good by Frostflight. Now Frostflight came with Farmer, which is, I mean, we all just have to applaud him because Farmer, much like Igog here, who also came with Farmer. But I mean, yeah, Frostflight is effective, but you need the right circumstances. But, you know, I'm sorry, but lasers are good. He's right, lasers are good, but Isplug is going to run into issues because Skipper LB can do that. So Skipper LB has hyper maneuverable thruster balls with a centralized generator compact with 4 shields. Makes them quite tanky. There's 7 of them. So you know, it's quite evenly spread out. He's used the maximum ship limit. He has a few missiles which give him some good range. He has a couple of those. Yeah, those are actually just dumbfire missile launchers, as well as just a lot of beams, which make him terribly effective because he can do things like incinerate ships like that. But then again, this is Farmer, so I guess we can't really expect too much. But you can see that Frostflight is nuking a few of Skipper LB's ships. The issue is Frostflight. Oh, he gets picked off by the burst beam charge. The burst beam charge is what really kills Frostflight in the beginning, because the burst beams, once they charge up, can do some scary damage. As I say, I expect to explode gloriously. That, and I made it last minute. Oh yes, okay. So Frostflight is, you know, he didn't expect to win, but still, Frostflight. Still, I want to act as if it could have. I want it. I want the farmers to win. We all want farmers to win. Oh. Anyway. So, yeah, sadly, Skipper LB... Now, Skipper LB is, I think, the most effective thruster, a burst ball is what I call it, the burst ball design. But you know, thankfully, Isplug takes out a few, but I'm not really sure what he could have done to refine that. Great, now we're gonna get on finally to this. Okay, so once again we have Mons versus Husk. So we have Mesillic movement versus Mesillic movement squared, which is interesting because we have 7 ships versus 4. Mons has a less, well, he has more accurate point. He has more spot point defense. The plasma guns are quite strong to a degree versus ludicrous levels of point defense. So, oh yeah, sadly, for some reason, Mons' ships like to try and close quarters, which does mean they get wrecked. They have superior number, but the issue is that they're not superior with intellect sometimes, sadly. But I mean that's just Reassembly AI doing its thing. And the issue is that Husk's laser PD makes him dauntingly effective against most fast-moving things. Now one of Mons' little ships is still alive, but hang in there, little buddy, hang in there. Oh, we're gonna rebuild. No, they're coming for us. Fire the missiles. Move. Ah. Sorry, I saw what happened, says Husk. Yeah, so that's sad. Now, Mons is little. Now, I like these little thrustables. They're very cute and they're very omnidirectional movement. Very effective at that, but they're a bit too weak. They kind of get roasted by things like Husk, just because Husk is basically has 4 big dreadnoughts, which means that he has a lot of weapons packed into a tight space, which means he can just wreck things individually, on an individual scale. The only way that Mons can really win is if his ships group up and pick off targets, but that's not really going to happen, not at this current setup. But yeah, so Husk is going to take this due to point defense superiority, as well as just yeah, more lasers versus lasers sample. That's basically it. I kind of wish I entered, but nah. It's okay, Hadron. It's okay. So Hadron says, to be honest, I kind of wish I entered, but whatever. The Gobu, yeah, I took still. The Gobu's still alive. Yeah, still alive, sadly. Okay, so now we're gonna have Mons, finally in the double elimination bracket side. Finally, what am I saying? That's kind of horrible. Anyway, so yeah, now Mons gets to go against Wraith. So now we have 2 maneuverable fleets, but Wraith is more maneuverable, but Mons does have more missiles. Wraith, however, does also have lasers. Oh, and a few. Oh, Mons. I really want to see Mons' just Mesillic bombardment force win, because it's quite beautiful, just the thousands of missiles. I think it actually, yeah, Mons' fleet has the most missile spam out of everything. But unfortunately, Molecules has, of course, lasers and just hyper maneuverability, as well as they're a little tankier because they're bigger, so splash damage doesn't hurt them as much. But yeah, sadly, Mons gets torn apart a little bit. Oh, it's the same little survivor guy. Survive, little buddy. Survive! 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 Run! Be the last of your people! Be the last of your people! No! How is he surviving? Run, little buddy! No! What are you doing? He tried to be brave. He wanted to smack them with his sword. Oh, yeah. Mons' ships do look quite nice, and the fact that he stuck missiles on missiles makes it quite fun. Alright, now we have Debris versus Oddie's Galcon Architects. Now, Galcons... Now, Oddie's... what's the word? Torpedo spam? Makes him very effective at chowing through tough things, but the issue is he has to try and keep away, and he can't because Debris' ships are too fast. They're too fast. But here, Oddie's winning... Oh no, Oddie's actually winning now. Yes. Come on, Oddie, knock Debris out. Knock Debris out, Oddie. I don't want to see this crystal engine spam. Madness. Come on, Oddie, come on, Oddie, come on. So Oddie's ships have a lot of backwards maneuverability, well, I should say forward maneuverability, which means that they can just outrun him. And the thing is, their weapon loadout is actually quite decent, and they have enough shields to absorb a few hits, which makes them relatively tanky. Because, as you can see, Oddie has 5 ships to Debris' 2, and the thing is that as Debris gets more and more thinned out, there's more and more ships going after each individual craft, and
Really, this is just gonna end up tearing debris to bits. Uh, oh, I thought Audi was gonna take a hell of a pounding there, but yeah. So also debris has a good number of backup generators, which sadly Floof didn't have. Uh, yeah, I'd have been interesting to see Floof versus Audi. That would have been intriguing for a different from. Never mind. Anyway, so yeah, Audi has enough point defense. And look at the drones and missiles. Just there's so much stuff. Oh, look at this torp bombardment. Torp bombardment. Oh, that's good. That's good hits. So Audi can do a lot of damage to these very tanky crystalline ships. Oh, 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 oh. But the moment Audi's ships, try to tank themselves, they get torn to asunder. Now Audi needs to just lead Debris' craft, but when that happens, it just goes south. It just goes south fast. Oh, yeah. So Debris is going to win this one purely because he lucked out in that his ships managed to. Oh, chat. What? Can't I get excited about my own tournament? How dare you? How dare you? I'm in a hot room with loud noises outside. The day has been long and hard and arduous. I'm allowed to enjoy myself. Anyway, Audi might pull this back, but I just like the torpedo bombardment at the beginning. It's just satisfying, just to get so much damage off. Yeah, Audie's now going to get a bit sandwiched, or not. Okay, good. All right. Audi could pull this back, but I don't believe it's going to happen, really. He has enough maneuverability to stay ahead of the crowd, but if he does stuff like this, he just GG. Oh no, no, he's last standing this. He's last standing. It's just on my Reassembly Tournament. You know what? Fine. I'll be calm. All right. So we have missiles, and a clean connection. All right. Now we have very satisfying gunbombardment. You can see Audi is keeping a good distance and maintaining effective weaponomic effect. As you can tell, this time it's a lot less lucky. Oh, chat. Oh, you make me feel so happy. Either way, Audie's pulling it back this time, which is good. Which is actually just nice, because I kind of, for some reason, I want Debris to win, but at the same time I just don't. Oh, there we go. There we go. One of Audie's ships just got melted in half. No, Floof, I haven't. I don't think I have. No, I don't think. No, it doesn't come to memory. No. It's a long, arduous day, Simplecrum. Enjoy myself. Oh, chat, never change. I'm honestly enjoying it. I'm honestly enjoying it. Anyway, so Audie's going to win this, which makes me happy because Torpedo Armageddon is always fun. Also because all the drones and the it's a nice. And also because then Debris gets to fight some of the people on the other side. And I'm just interested to see how that works. Debris against Husk could be interesting. Wait, did we have that fight already? No, we didn't. I'm going insane. I'm starting to go insane. But oh, there we go. Okay, so Audi wins because Galcon is superior Laporian design. But anyway. Could get somebody, I guess. Anyway, now we have thruster plus condenser equals armor by debris versus concow ducks, the beaked bovine. Now, I don't know how well the beaked bovine are going to do here. They're very... They need to be closer range. They're set up more for close range than anything else, really. And debris... The amount of close range weapons that he has, the amount of plasma condensers he has, makes it very rough. But then again, concow duck does have a lot of dumbfire missiles, a lot of missiles in general, which are usually a very good counter to these sorts of fleets. If he has enough speed, but I don't... Ooh, he's just barely getting out of the... just barely escaping debris' Missilic Armageddon. But the issue is, he only has 2 ships. These are his fastest and tankiest ships, however, so this does mean that he's going to be able to... He'll at least be able to outlast him, perhaps, but not if his other ship does, you know, close little range maneuvers like this. I mean, this guy's a blooming daredevil pilot. Look at him. He's just like, yeah, you can't hit me. Come on, come on, come on. You can't even get close to this. Just like fires his missiles. Just you know, he's doing... Basically just a little space drift. Little space drift. Space drift. I mean, look at this little ship. He's just distracting everything. But yeah, he got too cocky and he got a hell of a beating. And then concow duck's main craft gets incinerated because debris is just too maneuverable. So that's just how it works. Whew. I need to open a window. Anyway, yeah, so as we can see, concow duck just gets wasted by... Because those thrusters have an inordinate amount of HP to their cost, which makes them scarily effective. Hello, drills. Just in time, I guess. Well, Sepulchrum is a lot of competitors. There's 23 competitors today, so... Oh, wait. I need to focus, people. Come on. Alright, now we have Molecules by Wraith versus, Thruster plus Condenser equals Armor by Debris. Now, this is very interesting because Molecules is a lot more maneuverable than Debris. I think we can agree on that. Also, he has, missiles and everything else, which makes him quite effective. But the issue is, I think he's gonna, he like everyone else, he still tries to get in close, and that means he gets absolutely mauled by the spread fire of these crystalline ships. But those plasma mortars do some solid damage. The issue is whether or not he can survive long enough to make them count. Have we seen this before? Have we seen Wraith Molecules versus Debris before? You know what? Oh well. Chat, I don't know what you're going on about. I'm going to leave you. I'm just going to turn off my screen and just ignore you for a while. Because you're distracting me. You're distracting me from this. Right. So here we have the Wild Molecule, and it's versing an armored variant of your custom crystalline Armageddon. As we see, one of them is turned into a spinner, which is strictly banned, but as you can see, the ban hammer of Lapse descended from nowhere and obliterated it. Additionally, a good amount of, how shall I say, Thumpervaria is being released upon this lone singular ship. I believe Molecules will win. I kind of want Molecules to win. Actually, I kind of want Debris to win, because to have a well-designed crystalline fleet win is nice. I think it would be cool. But at the same time, using thrusters as armor, I mean, that's actually completely legitimate. I mean, that makes up for crystalline's lack of good point defense. Oh, you see, the moment I want to go in that way, it starts to go in that way. You see. This is why you need Lapse's favor. Yeah, so if Molecules can get off some good hits, which he is, if Wraith's Molecule... Oh, there we go. Nicely done, Wraith. Nicely done. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, you see, when he goes in the middle like that, that's incredibly dangerous. But for some reason, Debris doesn't want to be as maneuverable this time around. You know, he's the one being outmaneuvered instead of the other way around, which is the reason he's won the other engagements, is because he was chasing. This time, Molecules is chasing, and Debris is sort of, you know, he's the elephant being, Debris is right now the elephant being chased by a pack of hyena. And the moment that Debris becomes the hunter, and the enemy become the prey, then Debris starts to win. But as long as it's not that, the other person will win usually. It's just interesting to break it down. Okay, I should probably zoom in for this. Yeah, so he managed to take out that. So right now it's a 1v1 and a 2. Oh, never mind. It's a 3v1. Oh yeah, this is going south of Debris. Come on, Debris. Come on, Debris. Come on, Debris. Ah, Debris. Last stand it. Last stand it, Debris. Last stand it. His weapons aren't firing fast enough. My weapons aren't firing fast enough. Ah, you got one. 2 left. One of the ships got far too close. Oh, ooh, he just splash damaged those generators. You see, if he takes out the generators, then obviously Debris can't fire, and Debris is a good amount of redundancy generation, but I mean, was it enough? So now, well, actually it was completely enough. It just, those splashes. This is the crystalline don't have shields. Alright, now we have Wrecking Balls by Icemorn versus Chiclets from Hell by Sumplecrum. This should be interesting. Oh, yeah. This went just like a, come on, just like I knew it would. Those Ghost Beams just annihilate. Madam, kablamo. Yay. Things are getting torn asunder because Ghost Beams. So as you can see, a good Gauss barrage just incinerates, and there's nothing those shields can do about it. Sentinel wins because Sentinel apparently, even without their rammers and nukes, they are still vastly overpowered. At least against other conventional things. I mean, the Gauss Beams, it's just really a problem with the beams. Alright, so now we have Icemorn, Wrecking Balls versus. We've seen this one already, haven't we? Yes, we've actually seen this one before. Yeah. So this is going to go south for Duke Slayer, but I mean, we'll let him try again. Madam, let me show you my stick. Duke Slayer tried to joust with Icemorn. That didn't work. As a note, ladies and gentlemen, never try to joust with a Wrecking Ball. I don't know if that goes without saying, but I feel like it's a solid advisation. Yeah. Rip is correct. Never joust with a Wrecking Ball. So much lost potential. I agree, Duke Slayer. Yes, I turned chat back on. Huh. Sentinel is just a very strong faction, is kind of the issue, but regardless of it. Yeah, so once again, Duke tries to joust and gets torn asunder. Yeah, double elimination fail. We need triple elimination for this. I think we can all agree. You leave my Sentinels alone. I'm sorry, Tankers, but I cannot. Because Icemorn is coming. Now, Duke might be able to survive a little while, but I mean, the point lead is severe. I'm not going to prolong the inevitable because there's literally no way Duke can pull it back. Yeah. Quad elimination. Welp. Yeah, Duke. I'm sorry. I would have liked to have seen this beam runner. Well, the beam factory, the bee runner. Win, but just wasn't meant to be. Bonus participant. Sumbulcrum, if or somebody, if someone would like to, you know, collect, you know, how should we put it? What's the word? After party requests. I would appreciate that. You got decently far, Duke, but that's, I think, yeah, it's just sadly up to luck, really. Because you do decently against the slower ships. You know, some of the crystalline that I tested you against, some of the fleets that I had, they were just slower. You know, more tanky designs. They get absolutely wrecked because they get slowed down so much. But yeah, sadly no. It's purely, it's just because Iceborne is too maneuverable for your anchor drones. If you had gone up against some of the crystalline fleets, you would have definitely kicked their butts. Purely because of, you know, you'd be able to lock them down. They wouldn't really be able to get close, and also your drone setup is quite good, because since you have 1,012 anchor drones and their shields kind of cover for the normal drones, which lets the normal drones, you know, do their job and actually you know, get a few shots off. Because usually if you have a swarm of drones, they don't last long enough to really do anything significant. They get, you know, how should we say, they get boiled off, you know, like water in a pot. Alright, so now we have the Mighty Ragger, the Typhoon Peacock Dream Imperium, versus Sunburst by Skipper LB. Now, I think this is the first we've seen of Mighty Ragger, right? I believe so. Anyway. This is already no hull allowed. We're talking about Vinster. Only cause thrusters and generators. You have to kill your enemy by ramming them with generators. I like that. That's quite funny. But yeah, anyway, so basically the interesting thing about the Mighty Ragger and his the Typhoon Peacock Flaming Pill. Oh, it's very French, it's very nice. Or, you know, I mean, whatever. You could actually, if I could find my German, it's the Typhoon Peacock Flaming Imperium. Yes, you could actually make it German as well. Regardless of such, so Ray guys come with a very, oh gosh, the heat's getting to me. The issue is there's a party going on in the neighboring building. It's too loud, so I've closed all my stuff just to try and make it softer in here. But the heating's actually starting to get to me. What? Oh, the accents. Thank you. I bow. But this is a very, how shall I say, catalytic fleet, because the generator placement is, I don't want to use bad words, but it's worrisome, because if you hit here, or really anywhere really, if you hit at the back, the whole thing goes nuclear. It is obliterated, it is annihilated, it is sent to the hills with flame and fury. It's just obliterated, and the worse is with these little thruster balls. These things have generator prods at the side. What are these? Who, why? Like, look, Rhaegar, I like the effort you put into your ships, but that's very dangerous. And I actually just realized that some of these generators are pointing in different directions. To quote Mons Pubis, that is inhumane. But regardless of such, these are actually very tough, very tanky, and very heavy hitting ships. The only issue is obviously the generator placement. It's very fragile, because the moment you pierce some of these shields, which is very easy to do, and you hit the generators, everything goes up in smoke. All the tough things that, the plasma, the antimatters, and the heavy plasma turret, by the way, is a brilliant investment. It's got a lot of HP, it does a good amount of damage. It doesn't cost all too much compared to some of the other weapons. But the generator placement means it's just going to go up in smoke pretty instantly. He does, however, have a lot of missiles, a lot of range with these rail rifles, some good maneuverability, and some hard-hitting antimatters, which make him dangerous. Also, the shield construction on that. And then, of course, we already know Skipper LB, but I think Skipper is going to tear this. Yeah. Reason? You really need a reason. It's because burst pulse. It's because burst pulse laser. I don't think there's any other way of describing it. It's burst pulse, ban Terran, ban Sentinel. We're going to play with only Reds and Farmers. That's going to be it. Reds, Farmers, and Bees. Reds, Farmers, Bees. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm just going to have a Red Farmers, Bees tournament next. A Hulless Red Farmer Bee tournament. It's going to be amazing. We're going to ban thrusters. We're going to ban cores. You're going to be able to build with generators, and that's it. You're going to have to propel yourself by having certain generators explode. 999999999. Yes, very much so. It's the generator rotation. Yeah, so Sunburst take this, and we're not surprised because Bolst Purse. What the hell is a Bolst Purse? Freaking Bolst Purse. These OP Bolst Purses, man. These OP Bolst Purses. Bolst Purse. Why? Okay, anyway. Now I have the mighty Regas, Typhoon Pilgrim versus Isblag. I'm sorry, but lasers are good by Frostflight. Now, this is going to be very interesting, purely because I think the quite suicidal generator placement of these things means that the lasers on these, Frostflight's Isblag fleet Isblag is going to probably win the day, but the pure damage potential of those antimatters and railguns. Wow, yeah. Honestly, Farmer underpowered. Please buff. Oh, never mind. So apparently, 3 for 2, 3 for 4, 4 for 4. Farmers. Farmer superiority! Yes, farmer superiority! The farmers win it, people. The farmers beat the Terrans. This is official. Official. Perhaps wrong as usual. Thanks, Applecom. The only weapon allowed is the Spiky Plant missile. Honestly, let's just have a Spiky Plant tournament. I think computer is OP and random ban computer. Manual Reassembly Tournament. You guys just send me cutouts of your. You literally just draw your fleets. You know, I'll say that you have only like a quarter of a pencil to work with, and that's how much you can draw. And just cut it out, send it to me. I was way ahead of you, Finster. Way. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the mighty Rhaegar wins this time, but wait, what? Did he win too? I am blind. Whoa. Okay. Well, now we have Icemourn versus the mighty Rhaegar. Wait, no. Wait, who won? I'm lost. I'm lost in the middle of a. Oh, jeez. Yeah. So unfortunately, now we have Thruster Ball versus very catalytic battleship construct, which kind of go nuclear instantly. That hurts. Look at that. It was way before you, chat delay. He's gonna hold that against me until the day he dies. It's like I was way ahead of you, Labs. Way before the chat delay. Okay, fair enough. Right. Yeah, Wrecking Balls, Icemourn. The Typhoon Pilgrim is sadly being routed by this Dan. What would Wrecking Balls be? Would they be American? English? Oh, the farmer lost it. No! There could be no love without the farmers. A minute of mourning. Okay, well, Wrecking Balls won. Great, we now have new competitors. Right. Here's a very interesting setup. We have Lionel Lion versus Naked Dalek by Kamikaze Dalek. Now, Lion has come with an interesting fleet composition. It's all B. Yes, you heard me right. It's all entirely, completely B. It's a massive warcraft of B point defense. B point defense. Alright? Do you okay, actually, give me a second. I need to plug my headphone in because it's actually dying. It's wireless, which means that it's kind of not enjoying itself. Hello, sound? Okay, tell me if you can hear me. Hello, anybody? Okay, no, my mic aux is good. You should. It's my strategy. Okay, great. No, it's back. Okay, then we have this ship, which is lots of doom beams, heavy point defense, lots of shields, good generator place. He's basically made Hull out of BPD, and I love it. It is gorgeous. He's also got a few strike craft with drone launchers. Some decent. These ships are actually quite fast. I mean, otherwise I'd have had to send them back. But regardless, then we have Naked Dalek. Now, Kamikaze has come with basically the exact same system. He's used low-cost lasers to basically build a hull of his ship, and he also has, of course, the big antimatter guns. Now the benefit, and also he has a lot of proton beams or protein swords, protein beams. Mons poopers. Anyway, in his ship, so that can double as a lot of good point defense. He also has these little ships which have little mortars and shields on them, which make them quite effective. Pardon me. Then he has these mortar beam ships. So he's actually very daunting. He also has a few missiles and torpedoes. Now the interesting thing about his big capital ships is that they have station shields. The issue with station shields is that really what you're paying for is range and not much else really, because the strength is low, the regen is kind of not that good. Oh my gosh, B point defense, BPD superiority. It sliced one of those ships in half, but unfortunately BPD is not that strong. Okay, get torn to cinders. The thing is, Kamikaze Dalek could have rather instead of having those station shields, he could have had hundreds, and I'm not even joking, he probably had 100 scale 3 plasma cannons on the outside of his ships, and those would have been way more worth the effort because they would have had way more armor, way more damage. You know, he could have had maybe more generators to fuel them, as well as just more maneuverability. But as you can see, Lionel's B fleet wins because overpowered B point defense, and I mean glorious B point defense. This stuff is beautiful because it's basically just a gorgeous battery of annihilation. You can see it slices through everything. It's oh so beautiful, but at the same time, Terran OP, BOP. Everything goes backwards. Yeah, this big ship is actually the real heavy hitter of Lionel's fleet. The issue is the Kamikaze Dalek's main dreadnoughts are a little better purely because they hit hard and they have good long range. But yeah, all right. Now we have Sea Hitler's the last Arachnion Fractal Armada. Now the last Arachnion. How do you want to say it? Arachneon. No, yes, it's Arachneon. Anyway, well, I can say that fine. Anyway, okay. And this is basically once again Sentinel. It's interesting because he's gone for a lot of Fury missiles. You know, a lot of furry missiles, as Rob would call it, as Deluxe Gaming would call it. You know, a lot of Fury missiles, lots of bolters. Surprisingly, very few people want to use Gorse, and I don't know why. Like, this would everything benefits from Gorse. Gorse is powerful, very powerful, but then again, I guess it could be considered GT. And then we have the new Bavarian Space Pistols by Splinter. Now these things are really cool. It's 4 of the same big dreadnought ships. They've got some burst poles. They're primarily built out of the 6P lasers. They are high maneuverability. They've got a lot of torpedoes and a few plasma mortars, and it's just a spinal antimatter fest. It is gorgeous. All right, let's just let them have at it because that's gorgeous. Oh, pure annihilation for a purpose long forgotten. Do you see those antimatters? I do. Do you see the point defense? I do. Oh. Not gonna awry. Not gonna awry. Not gonna lie. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous weaponomic Armageddon. Just ba 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 ba. Everything dies. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. 4 big dreadnoughts that annihilate with antimatter. I don't think there's really anything that's more superior. Anything. Okay, I've opened a window, so if you hear people yelling in the distance, it's called a party, and we try to ignore it, but regardless of such. Whoa. Yeah, the new Bavarian space pistols are winning, because space pistols, I would have rather called them hand cannons, but, you know, automatic hand cannons. There we go. Nice Splinter, very nice. Sorry, shame C. Hitler, I'm sorry. It's actually a very nice looking fleet, if that makes any better. Wow, it's been an hour. Okay, so now we have Lionel with his bees versus C. Hitler's Arachnion Armada. Now it'll be interesting. Lionel, you have superior point defense power. Lionel, my friend, you must use those bees to great effect. Hit the underside for critical damage. Those Fury missiles. Those Fury missiles. Those Fury missiles really just cut in. You know, the Fractal Armada has a lot of hit, but the bees have their shields, and their point defense is beautiful because they just slices. It's like hot butter. It's hot butter through a knife. I think I'm slightly dyslexic. Don't give me shit. Anyway, so basically, yes, beautiful point defense, Armageddonal superiority. And it's going well, but Fractal Armada. Exactly, Sumple. That was actually what I was thinking. You know, his point defense guns aren't set to point defense. It's a great shame. Wah wah wah. I'm just missing a few computational circuits. Yes, everything is you see the heat is melting my my circuits. It's going bad. Defective troll. Oh, I was reading chat. Okay, great. So here we have Exderp, classified Hulless. I love the name Exderp, classified Hulless. Oh jeez, epic. So Exderp has come with a highly maneuverable, hard-hitting fleet, which is actually very structurally sound. You know, you look at it and you think, wow, this wasn't built by a crazy person. He's got a few support frigates, and then he has his 3 heavy hitters and his 4 support frigates, which are pretty good. Once again, the issue is he's going with a station shield, which I believe is to cover his allied ships. But at the same time, there's a terrible waste of investment, because the shield doesn't have enough HP to make its cost worth it. Its shield strength and its regen is terrible. The only thing you're really paying for is range. And the issue is that range is only useful on a station, and it's only really useful for looks. So it's kind of useless, which is sad, because I really want the station shield to kind of be worth it, but it isn't. But anyway, so yeah, Drills has here. Okay. So now on to Drills. Now Drills 007 or Drills 007, 007 Drills. We have a mission for you. Yes, what is it? We needed to go to America and find out where Deluxe Gaming. Wait, Deluxe is in Canada. Never mind. We need to go to Canada and find out where Deluxe Gaming lives. We needed to verify. Oh, jeez, what the hell? Ow, ow, ow! I think I just stabbed myself. Ow. I need to go find Deluxe Gaming and make sure he's still alive. Anyway, so Drills has a very, very nice looking fleet. I really like the look of it. He's got a lot of plasma. He's got a few interesting choices. He put his antimatters at the back there, sort of as like a stabilizing agent. Also his generators. Now his generators are all at the back of his ships for the most part. Here they're on the wings, which is an interesting choice. I don't know why he doesn't just have them by the command module, but I mean, you know what? To each his own. And then here we just have a mega carrier. This thing is shielded to levels I don't think I can even explain. With lots of drones and missiles, it's daunting. Yeah, so he has his carrier, he has his dreadnought with lots of railguns, lasers, good maneuverability, not the best but good. I mean, it's got very decent forward, but no stopping. Then of course we have basically what amounts to thruster balls with some good movement. Here's a rear engine module, which is usually very effective. Lots of plasma, lots of lasers. Also a few drones in these ships, as well as missiles. Missiles, of course, being a very good long-range asset. Okay, great. Let's just let this play out. So we have a very yes, the carrier gets wasted. Oh. Yeah, so Exterp, although he wasted points on the shields end up kind of covering for each other to a degree. They're still not worth it, but I mean, if I were to point out a thing, they do kind of help. But unfortunately, they were just vastly too maneuverable, and their weapon systems were good, and they just bit right through, sadly. Alright, now we have Snowflake 1.0 Starfix. Now, I would be interested to see Starfix versus Debris, because they've basically gone for an identical system setup. Practically identical. And then we have Klim Hazard with his Laser Defense Grid 2.0. So we have Snowflake 1.0 versus Laser Defense Grid 2.0. I kind of want 2.0 to work to win because of this comedy, but regardless of such. So Laser Defense Grid, as its name suggests, has supernova. Oh, that's painful. But basically, Lazoric Armageddon with missiles, very healthy shield, supremely maneuverable, lots of missiles, lots of lasers. You know what? When we're done with this, I'm gonna go re-enable extra stars by whatever his name is, and that'll tone that. That's a very nice mod that makes all the shields incredibly opaque and makes life a lot easier. It also reduces glow and stuff, so it just makes life nice. And then I'll go through these ships again. You guys can have a nice look. But yeah, so this is hyper maneuverable thruster balls versus hyper maneuverable death balls. But lots of missiles on this fleet. Lots of good laser attack. But unfortunately, they still succumb to crystalline firepower. But the amount of shields they have makes them very resilient against a few stray hits. Zorzaki and Armageddon, yes. Not Gats, not Gatka's lots of stars. It's like Reassembly or something. I can't remember who, but it's the one that should be on the main page right now. AI overpowered. Yeah. Unfortunately, so Klim Hazard has won in the micro, but Starfix seems to have won in the major. So this is a defeat in detail, because Klim Hazard's forces were divided, and Starfix might have lost 2 ships, but Klim Hazard lost vastly more. Unfortunately, luckily, however, Klim Hazard still has his main dreadnought, but it's about to be picked off. Yeah, gone. Poof, gone like the wind. But yeah, oh shit, my god, I scored about that. Run, Klim, run. Just don't look back, Klim, run. So Klim has his laser, his burst pot. Oof. That wasn't fun. That was painful. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Snowflakes is going to win this. Pretty sure Starfix is going to take this, just because maneuverability, health, and damage. So the crystalline are actually very viable in these Hulless tournaments, because their equipment is very healthy, whereas all the other factions have relatively low health indexes for their blocks. Yes, also the thrust. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. The thrust. Second. Example. A plants tournament. Now that would be very interesting. The only issue is I think we'd get lagged to hell and back. What I do want to have is a modded tournament. Yeah, maybe I'll let you guys. Like, I feel like I'm the master of this. Like, maybe I will let you peasants. No, maybe I'll make a Plants of Gemini tournament, because I've got a mod called the Plants of Gemini. It's plants, but it's a little less plant missile intensive. But yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea. Some interesting Borg would be crazy. Either way, I think we know where this battle is going. Or not. No. This time, Klim Hazard was. Oh, nicely done, Klim. Oh, good. He's got. Okay, fantastic. You see, the moment I don't pay attention, the right person. I mean, wait, what? The right person wins. I'm just being cheeky against Crystalline, because everyone was strategizing for Crystalline. Um, that just went very interesting. Hello, Zerg. Hello, you're finally here. Yeah, this is what happens when you have two experienced players. They cut into each other well. They're well balanced. It really just comes up to an AI and maneuverability issue. Maneuverability, I suppose, less so, but AI is more kind of the issue, and obviously fleet placement. The random fleet placements at the beginning of all matches always has a good strong effect. A Star Wars Galaxy tournament. Ah, maybe. Thing is, I'd want it would have to be a faction against itself, because the issue with modded tournaments is that if I have more than one faction, everything starts to get overpowered very quickly, and you'll see the major differences between the faction balancing quickly, because different factions obviously balance to a different degree and to differing levels of effect against the normal vanilla factions. So I could let you guys do a make you wow. I could do a greatest of the least tournament. Now that could be interesting. Tiny little ships, thousands of microscopic fighters going against each other. It would lag us to hell and back, but I'm sure it'd be fun. Ooh, that's one of Starfix's commands. Ooh, Starfix, you lost this round, buddy. Ay 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 ay. That was good. Yeah. Right. Okay, good. Now we've seen everyone, so I can just lie back and not care. I'm just going to read Isaac Asimov's Foundation. Um, where was I last? Page 77, I believe. 77. Okay. Okay. Book. And his eyes went to his book, flicked into nothingness, and the lights brightened once more. Okay. Let's see. Facing him. It's tragic and lips trembling. The chairman's voice was firm but toneless. You're right, it seems. If you will see us tonight at 6, the board will consult with you as to the next move. They shook his hand, each one, and left, and Hardin smiled to himself. They were fundamentally sound at that, for they were scientists enough to admit that they were wrong. But for them, it was too late. He looked at his watch. By this time, it was all over. Lee's men were in control, and the board was giving orders no longer. The Anacreonians were landing their first spaceships tomorrow, and that was all right too. In 6 months, they would be giving orders no longer. In fact, as Harry Seldon has said, and as Salva Hardin had guessed, since the day that... no spoilers. Can we get some beam versus solo ship carnage in the afterbody? Well, if you guys write it down and take note of it, then sure, we can do that afterwards. So they would be giving orders in lock. In fact, as Hannah Seldon had said, Hannah Salvard, yes, that Anselm Haunt Roderick had first revealed to him Anacreon's lack of atomic power, the solution to this crisis was obvious. Obvious as hell. I'm reading Isaac Asimov's Foundation because I just have it here, and I actually haven't finished it because I'm a cheeky sod, and because this battle is taking a while. Oh, the confusion. Anyway, Drills 07 Abstract Glittery Coconut versus Snowflakes 1. Nail, which fleet is yours, Nail? I can't remember. You know what? I'm actually quite hungry. I think I'm gonna leave it. I think I'm just gonna quickly go grab something, and I'll be back. All right. All right.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I've returned with food and much excitement. So, what happened? Give me a brief rundown. Tell me what happened, ladies and gentlemen. So, Sunburst, Skip LB won this round. Battles happened. Yes, I'm back. Chance that Wrecking Balls may or may not win. Hold up, so... See it, Listnofix? I can't catch up in those 5 seconds. Okay, so we have Wraith versus Sunburst. Sunburst wins. Reason, Burst Pulse. That's, I think, all the reason we've ever needed. Thanks, Byron. Thanks. Really descriptive. Classical chat. Yeah, so Sunburst just tears everything asunder. Asunder. Oh, okay. Oh, so Sunburst went against Sumplecrum and got wrecked. I saw that much. Unless that happened already, hasn't it? Kamikaze Dalek is tearing Splinter apart. But at the same time, Splinter is tearing Kamikaze Dalek apart because antimatters. Oh, ay, man. Burst Pulse has always been very powerful because it's a burst pulse. And how do you counter burst pulse? More burst pulse. That is literally it. Vicious. Well, so Ares asks what makes a Hulless tournament better than a Hull tournament. Well, simply put, it puts more emphasis on the design of the ship. It puts more emphasis on loadout, loadout equipment, good design philosophy, fleet composition. It really just makes it more about the ships and the design than about tankiness and about trolliness and about meta, really. There's obviously still meta, but you know, it puts a vastly bigger emphasis on balancing maneuverability with damage, and also the things that hull doesn't cost anything. So you can kind of go crazy with it, and to balance it out with thrust is relatively easy. So you can make things that are... So for example, by the way, Starfix is just kicking poor Kamikaze Dalek's face in, unless Kamikaze's one ship here can just win, but don't know how likely that is. But the thing is that with normal ships, with a normal capital ship, you can have an 8000p without hull, okay? For example here. But an 8000p with hull is vastly more effective. So, in your normal tournament, a newbie might come in with ships that don't have much hull. You know, maybe they were designed in the campaign, they look quite cool without hull, and you know, maybe they made a ship that had quite minimal hull. Maybe they had ships like mine, and my ships don't. Well, some of my earliest ships didn't have very much hull. They had a lot of empty space. They went off in different directions. And so, unfortunately, having hull, you can have a lot of hull on an 8000p ship and still make it decently maneuverable. But you can have enough hull that it basically becomes invulnerable. You can have gargantuan hulled ships with a few weapons in it that make it 8000p, but if it goes up against another 8000p ship with practically no hull, that you know for a certainty that other ship is going to lose, unless it's a Kaita or something, okay? It just balances the whole system like that.
Just make a mod where hull costs P and make a tournament based on that. Yeah. Yes, but then that becomes weird to balance, and because different hulls for different factions are stronger, and it just becomes a nightmare. Different hulls are stronger and lighter, and different things. Sorry if I go quiet for a little while. I'm eating food. So classified Hulless is doing okay. But unfortunately, Starfix's maneuverability and weapon systems are just tearing it to sunders. The classified Hulless fleet is very maneuverable, but when it does things like that, everything goes down the drain. And also, I mean, if you make hull cost something, the whole issue of why have hull when I could just build more turrets, when turrets would probably have more functional significance, and they would have a bit of HP anyway. So I mean, if you make hull cost something, then it kind of, I wouldn't say it negates the point, but if it costs too much, then it negates the point. Because the purpose of hull is that it's relatively low cost. So through this. Yes, sad Derp is very sad. He's getting wrecked. Fortunately. Unfortunately. It's very sad, really. Anyway. Fly Paste, hello Fly Paste. Long time, man, long time. You just woke up. It's a shame, mate. So now we have Pink versus Pink. Oh, Pink from hell wins. Oh, Husk, come on, Husk. Come on, Husk. Claim victory, Husk. Make it happen, Husk. Ay, 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 ay. Husk. You see, it's these Gorse beams. They're just far too powerful. I feel like just disqualifying Supplecom. Does anyone remember my first tournaments where there was Camo 5 versus someone else, and I literally just deleted Camo 5's fleet, let the other person win, because we all knew that Camo 5 would have won. Okay, so Husk versus Sunburst. This is interesting. Once again, however, superior burst lasers. Oh, you see, Husk 1-on-1 wins because his ships are individually much stronger. The issue is that Skipper Helby has more ships, so thus he's capable of picking off Husk very easily. Alright, so Clem Hazard versus Splinter. This should be interesting. Oh, pardon me. So, laser defense grid has lost one ship, you know, whereas the Neo-Bavarian Space Vessels has lost 2, and now 3, and it's about to lose its last. Yeah, Klim has once again burst, but you know what would be interesting if we had a Hulless tournament where we banned burst lasers and gauss. So basically, we ban laser weapons, but incredibly powerful ones, you know, charging things like that. We leave mortars, because mortars are relatively fun. They're slow moving, they're decent to dodge. That would just be interesting, but still.